people don't calibrate their skill level versus the market. They delude themselves into thinking that because they feel good about themselves or smart or whatever happened in their past that gives them some confirmation bias. They don't realize like, well, am I actually that good of a salesman or that good of a communicator or that good of a podcast host or that good of an investor? Like calibrate your hits and misses. I started doing this as an investor. I started looking at the people I said no to and where did they wind up? So if you want to be actually good at forecasting, if you're good at it as an investor, your misses are super important. What's your biggest miss?
Biggest miss?
Got to be one that's super frustrating.
Well, the biggest one as a professional investor was because I was going to lead the seed round for a great company and they required me to join the board, which we typically, don't do in a seed round because obviously if I joined every seed round investment, I'd be on 40 boards, not 15. Turns out that company's done phenomenally well. Oh. So we had a signed term sheet. Everything was locked and loaded, except they required me to join the board. And in consultation with my partners, we decided I couldn't do it. It's now a several billion-dollar company.
Can you say?
It's Robinhood.
I'm an investor.
Good.
Oh my God.
So I screwed up.
It's a $6 billion company. You would have owned 20%.
Yeah.
And Vlad asked you to be on the board and you didn't do it.
Exactly. So
good
news of this lesson is...
did you get a make good?
No, but I didn't make the I didn't make the mistake a second time. So there was another opportunity. I won't quite name the company, but a couple years later, same sort of situation emerged where there's this cool, interesting company that was fairly competitive around. The Robinhood wasn't that competitive because no one wanted to fund it in the seed round. But this one was fairly competitive, and the only condition was I had to join the board. And so this time I said yes, and I didn't even tell my partners. I just said, yes, I'm doing this. I'm not making the same goddamn mistake twice in my life. And it turns out this company's doing phenomenally well.
Absolutely. And you can always go back to them and say, like, listen, can I come off the board? Or can I dial in? Or
I
got a new person.
I may make other mistakes in life, but I'm not making the same mistake twice. So I lost sleep over Robinhood for like a year.
Good.
Like literally every night. Every single night. So when the second opportunity occurred, obviously I didn't know it was going to be as successful, but it will be as successful. But I was like, this just feels like the same decision again.
Yeah.
And yes, we're not going to own enough. And yes, we're not going to have enough money. But and in this case, there was another but too, which is I knew the founder and I knew he was going to text me anyway for advice. Yeah. So I was like, the incremental drag of joining the board was going to be small because I was going to be on the hook to advise him anyway. Yeah. So I might as well just say yes. And then fortunately, I did not say
How
no
many
to this
board
company.
meetings a year? 6 or 4?
This one's probably 6.
Yeah, you got to tell them, hey, maybe we should do this 4 times in a quick phone call.
Yeah, no, I mean, but it depends on the velocity of the business and how fast things change and the how difficult are the problems. So there's no like formula. But anyway, I was like, this time, absolutely yes, I'm joining the board. I think this might be maybe the best investment I've ever made.
Fantastic.
So I'm very happy that I agreed to say yes. So you make mistakes like that. I think the biggest mistake I made as an angel was more because I had a day job. Meetings I just was too busy to take. So it was like, I don't think I made too many mistakes of like told someone no that I should have said yes to, although I did turn Stripe down, which I had to go fix that years later. With several thousand, like 100x multiple or something of what I said no to.
People
maybe
don't
more.
know the scale of this mistake. Like we're talking about mistakes that are on a personal finance basis in the tens of millions of dollars.
Easily. But the good news is I was smart enough to fix the Stripe mistake.
Good God.
So I later wound up later investing. B, part of an anecdote that I actually had forgotten about was even though I declined to invest at the time, there was a very specific area of help and favor I did for the company that they really were able to benefit from that I was sort of using my connections and sort of social capital to help them with, which I had totally forgotten about. And then years later, Patrick remembered and reminded me of. So I was still able to be helpful to them, even though I didn't invest. And so it turned out to be a good thing anyway. But yeah, that was a classic mistake. My mom corrected me, actually. My mom found out I passed on Stripe and she yelled at me. She's like, oh my God, this is like ridiculous. Like Stripe is so good. How could you not invest in it?
Oh, yeah, mom's a developer? She was hitting the API and she's
running small
this API is
She's running small businesses and sales. And she yelled at me. And then, so when I finally invested in Stripe, like people knew the story that, I sort of rejected it initially. And, the media was looking for some edge. And so I told the story about my mom and that sort of diffused the situation.
Keith, it's your mother.
Yeah,
I'm in an Uber. You told me this is wonderful, Keith. and you passed?
Yeah, exactly.
You schmuck.
Yeah, no, pretty much that's the conversation with my mom.
That's my mother when I gave her a copy of my book. She's like, I need to talk to you today. I'm like, what is it, Mom? I have the manuscript. I have edited it. There are 17 F-bombs in here. You can have 2. I don't want to give this book to my friends and with these F-bombs. Okay? I taught you no F-bombs. Like if you said the word F in the house,
oh yeah, forget
my
it.
mother would stand up and give you a speech about the F-bomb.